Now, Pat, silver season with the Orlando Magic, 25 years. How does it feel to be celebrating this year?
It feels wonderful. Hard to believe, really, when you think about it. I moved down here in June of 1986, really. That was 27 and a half years ago, to help lay the foundation for all of this, hoping that we could get a franchise. And we ended up getting the franchise, and here we are in our 25th season. It has gone awfully fast, awfully fast.
Well, take me back to when it all started, when Jim Hewitt approached you, with the idea of bringing a franchise to Florida. Take me back to 1985.
Well, here's really what happened. I was the GM of the 76ers. I had a speaking engagement down here in early September of '85. And so I came down and spent the weekend and did that. I ran into Jimmy Hewitt. I didn't know him well. I had met him one time earlier over in San Antonio. Anyway, I finished my last engagement on that Sunday here in Orlando and had to fly back to Philadelphia. And Jimmy volunteered me to take me to the airport along with another friend. Anyway, while we were driving, I just threw out a question. I said, would the NBA ever go in Florida? And if so, where would you put the team? And I suggested Miami or Tampa. Well, Jimmy and his partner were very upset with that. Very upset. They said, no, you put it right here in Orlando.
Yeah.
That's the future of Florida. So as I got to the airport, I said, Jimmy, if you believe that, you might ought to call the commissioner in New York, David Stern, and just bounce it off him. So I went back to Philadelphia, and the next week the phone rang, and it was Jimmy who said, Bubba, that's what he calls everybody. He said, Bubba, we've got an appointment with David Stern. We're going up to New York to talk to him about this. And I thought, ooh, Jimmy Hewitt's got a little fire in his belly. Anyway, that's how it all started, and here we are.
So how did it take off? You must have really believed in the franchise to leave Philadelphia, the 76ers as a GM, to come here and put everything into this.
Yeah, it was a big risk. Jimmy said to me, we're now in April of '86, he said, we've done everything we can down here to get ready. If you'll come down and head it up, we'll go forward. If you decide to stay in Philadelphia, he said, we're just going to drop it. And so he put it right on the line, and I had to make a decision. I'd been in Philly for 12 years. It was my home area, and we'd gotten a lot done in Philadelphia. Either that or just walk away and come down here with everything at risk. So I decided to walk away and
so was it intuition?
Put it all on the line.
What was it? What made you decide to do it?
Well, I think it was the ultimate challenge, to try and create your own team from scratch. I think that really is the biggest challenge in sports, and that doesn't come along very often. That's a rare opportunity. And I kind of thought, am I going to look back years from now and say, I should have done that at that time. It was just a short window, but I should have done it. And I don't think I wanted to live with that regret. So we came down in June of 1986. At that point, we had a family of 6 children. And no assurances of anything. So we worked for a year, out of fear and intensity. And we were competing with Charlotte and Miami and Minnesota, not knowing how all this was going to play out. But all I knew was that we had to put on a pretty impressive show because we were a small market and there was no history of sports here. We didn't have an arena yet, and there were a lot of strikes against us. But those fans just stepped up and we kept pushing. We got deposits on 14,000 season tickets. That registered with the league. That made a big impression on them.
That the city was behind and in
that
support
they could
of the team.
Feel that enthusiasm. And then when we got the building started, in January of '88, I guess, when that began to take shape. So little by little, we began to sell ourselves to the commissioner and to the other owners that we were legit.
All right, so the Oranges, the Heat, the Rays, and the Magic. Now, I may have heard that your daughter may have had some influence after a little visit here. Talk about that day. Do you remember the visit that she had when she came down?
I do, and I remember that we thought that we were Orlando basketball limited, and that wasn't very sexy, and so we thought if we could just get our nickname. So the Sentinel ran a contest in the summer of '86 for us, and many names were suggested. We narrowed it down to 4. And you've just recited them.
Yes.
There were a few, even among them, I didn't like. The Oranges had all frozen, and that had gone south. And the Heat I didn't like. I thought that was negative. And what was the Rays? We had number of them. Anyway, my daughter Karen, who at that point I guess was about 7, she flew down that weekend to visit with me, and I took her around. We went to SeaWorld, and she ate at Morrison's cafeteria and was swimming, and she really, and Sunday night it was time to take her back, to fly back to Philadelphia. And her last words to me when I put her on the plane was, Dad, she said, I really like it down here. She said, this place is like magic. And I thought, maybe that captures it. Not black magic, but Orlando's magic of sunshine and fresh orange juice and golf courses and spring training and Mickey Mouse and Shamu and
everything all rolled into one.
Yeah, all rolled into one. The magical atmosphere of Central Florida. So that was a big part of naming the team.
Very cool. What is this franchise? Is it more than basketball? What does the Magic mean to the city of Orlando?
Oh, a great deal, and we've done a good job over the years in really investing in the community. It's always triggered from the ownership, and the DeVos family has a strong sense of community.
Yes.
That we're more than a basketball team, more than a pro franchise, that we have a real obligation to make a difference in the community. So we, from the very beginning, said, well, let's orient it towards young people. So the Orlando Magic Youth Foundation was created many years ago, and through a major golf tournament and a major gala in the spring, we have raised and given away over $18 million to organizations that are dealing with young people who have needs, and that's a huge contribution to this community. Plus, our players are very active out in the community, and they are recognized for that. Each year, one player wins a $50,000 gift to give to charity based on his charity work. So there's a tremendous emphasis on making a difference far beyond the basketball court.
Definitely. Now, do you feel that your legacy was to bring basketball to the city of Orlando?
I guess that's how I'll be remembered, and I think it means a lot more as the years go on. People ask me, what does this whole 25th anniversary mean? Well, aside from the fact that I've been here a long time, I think what it really says is that I took that gamble and put roots here, and then we sprouted wings, and the next thing you know, we took off. And it honors me a great deal these days as people from back in that era do recognize that, and they want to talk about it and want to reflect on it. So I think, I guess I'll always be remembered as one of the architects of bringing Major League Sports to Central Florida.
Now, talking about back in that era, players like John Stockton, Olajuwon, MJ, players in the 90s, compared to players like LeBron James and, Kevin Durant and Kobe. How has basketball changed in the past 25 years?
Oh, it's changed a lot. I think the athletes today are bigger and stronger, faster. They've been playing the game in an organized fashion since they were about 8 years old. Better training facilities, better nutrition, better coaching probably when you really get down to it. So I think the game has definitely elevated itself. I think the really big difference is that it's a worldwide event now. We have players in this league from countless nations on earth with no end in sight, and it's a big deal around the world. So I think that's the biggest change I've seen. Plus the number of people it takes to run all this. When I started as a GM in Chicago, for example, I think we had 5 full-time employees. That was in the late 60s, early 70s. Well, today here with the Magic, we have over 200 employees to run this. When I started 4.5 decades ago, the league office in New York had 4 employees, including the commissioner.
Wow.
Today, they've got a couple of thousand around the world to run all this. So it's become a huge industry when you really think about it.
How would you compare the 1989-90 roster to this year's roster?
Well, that was our first team, and we were so proud of that team. We had the expansion draft and the college draft, and it was fun putting that group together. And that was a veteran team. We decided to get good, solid veterans, and compared to this group, so young, so inexperienced in so many ways. So I guess it would, if we were to set up a best of 7 series, it would be pretty interesting. But I think this younger group probably would run them off the floor.
In 25 years, the Magic has seen great success. You know, a very young team compared to other teams in the league. What are some of your favorite moments from these 25 years?
Oh, that's a far-reaching question. Obviously the first game we ever won, an exhibition game against Detroit, which old-time fans will never forget. Going to the finals in 1995, that was the Shaq and Penny Hardaway team. That was a huge moment. And then doing it again, you know, in the Stan Van Gundy era.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about our early years, and even to this point, people think of ping pong balls and lottery success. You know, we won back-to-back lotteries in 92 and 93, which produced Shaq and Penny, then came back in 04 and did it again with Dwight Howard. And I like to say in 2013, we did it again, because with the second pick, we got Victor Oladipo, who probably would have been our first pick. So for my money, we won another lottery. So we've had great success there. And hopefully we don't have to go to the lottery again, you know, for a while. It's fun to have playoff teams, and that's what you're really building for.
Yes.
So right now we're trying to get into that position.
All right, let's do a little rapid fire. I want 1 to 2 word answers, real quick and sweet.
Okay, very good.
All right, favorite draft pick?
Shaq.
Favorite all-time Magic player?
Scott Skiles. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Favorite current player?
Oh, Victor Oladipo.
Best season or year?
First season.
Best Magic home game that you can remember?
The game that we beat Indiana in 1985 to get to the 7th game to get to the finals.
Greatest Magic memory of all time?
Winning the lottery, being told in April of '87, you've got a franchise.
There you go. Pat, congratulations on 25 years with the Orlando Magic.
Thank you. Nice to visit with you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.